Don't get me started. There's certain things you don't want me to talk about.
You got him started.
I got him started. Hey, we are starting, so I got him started.
You got me started. Now I'm all riled up. Here we are, guys. Post-game show. Sherrod Blakely is at the Garden, where the Celtics earned a grade A prime, moral victory tonight.
Back.
Yeah, a big pat on the back, and a game.
Potential victory.
It's hard to dog the potential victory. It's hard to dog these guys considering everything that happened. They were down 3 rotation players, and with Grant, Horford, and Schroeder in a non-COVID illness. The other 2 guys down in the COVID protocols, plus Sam Herder, plus Jabari Parker.
And then your boy Langford went out. Sherrod and John.
Friggin' Romeo goes out 8 minutes in. We're bringing Bobby too. Bobby's at the Garden. Bobby always finds the darkest corner of the Garden and says,
"Hey, I went right to the Josue spot. Whatever."
Where are you, dude? You're not at the Garden tonight. Where are you? You're out partying somewhere.
He says this is a good spot for me.
This is exactly where Josue sent me with the beautiful backdrop, and you can't see it. So
backdrop is
here
right.
we are.
No, you were right. Blackdrop. That's a blackdrop.
You can literally, John, why do we send this guy to the game? He can literally be anywhere right now. You know what I mean?
Because he's not going to wear those suits anywhere.
He might. I've seen him wear a number of different outfits at these games.
Yeah.
Anyways, what's up, Bobby?
That was part of the job description. That one's disappointing, huh? Like I'm not going more victory here. That was pretty poor execution through a number of stretches in the second half to end up with a loss here in a game that I felt like the Celtics played better in. I mean, they were the better defensive team in the second half. Probably better offensive team, too, the way Curry and others are playing there for Golden State.
Warriors played a bad game.
Yeah, until the second unit just beat up on Boston's. And it happened in the first half. It happened in the second half. And a decisive stretch there. Curry hits 2 shots down the stretch. And that's basically the game, those 2 shots that he hit that separated this one. Free throws, obviously, that's a big one. That halftime debacle where you lost 4 points in a game you lose by 4, probably the most definitive moment of this one. Getting the tech and Smart fouling there.
Did they miss both free throws more times than ever in history tonight?
Yeah.
Rob missed both twice. Jalen one time. There. Oh my God.
Gotta hit
a lot of missed free throws. There were
so many
bunnies at the rim.
But missed layups, missed free throws. Nesmith, I know. But that's it, man. That's the job. If you're gonna earn your minutes, when they find you in the corner on the open corner 3, and you have 5 seconds to take it, you have to knock those. That should be 75. If you're a shooter, you knock down 3 out of 4 of those. I mean, give me a break.
Yeah, I mean. That's what he does, right? I mean, it's not like you can lie on your resume and say that you're proficient in Excel, and then they give you an Excel spreadsheet and you can't do it. It's like this guy hits threes.
Right.
So why can't he hit threes? Like we've all lied on our resumes before. At least I have.
Yeah, Bobby told me he edited Premiere. He doesn't friggin' edit on Premiere.
Edit Premiere. But what is Nesmith doing if he's not doing that? What is it that you do here?
Yeah, what do you do here?
Right. It's like, come on, man.
I know, and then he loses his confidence, and then, good. He drove and he got an and one time, but then another time he just
took a nice charge.
Take it, and another time at the top of the key, he kind of drives into nowhere and passes into a sea of blue.
Even with all the misses, right?
He was engaged and active. I'm just piling on. It's not a Nesmith. It's not a bash Nesmith show. He made the most of his opportunities relative to what he normally does, and he ran with that first unit in that third quarter when they replacing Romeo when they cut the lead down. So he did great there. These are just the missed opportunities. You want to see him knock down those threes. You want to see them hit their layups. You want to see them not turn the ball over when they're not being pressured. The free throws, just a lot of that stuff.
This was an opportunity game for Nesmith because of the players that were out. Because
he made something of it. He just could have done more.
He made something of it. He was serviceable out there for sure. But there were opportunities missed as well. The big shot from, what I mean? There were points in the game where the Celtics were making their run, and they made a great second half run. And I'm sure we'll talk about it, but I love the way they played in the second half. I really do. I mean, I thought the way the first half ended, I was like, wow, that couldn't have gone any more poorly. They just lost any momentum that they even had, cutting it to 10. And then they came out firing in the second half, which I was all about. So Nesmith was a part of that. But there are bits and pieces of that run where you say, damn, like that's one that you wish they could have had. Maybe that, really punches the Warriors in the mouth there, because the Celtics were right at that hump for pretty much the entire second half, but they couldn't really get over it and make a little bit of a lead of their own.
Yeah.
Well,
bring in Josue as well. What's up, Josue?
What's up, Josue? You good? Okay, he can't hear us.
Blink if you've got us, Josue.
I thought
he ain't got nobody.
Anyway, here's the thing. Coaches and players always talk about control what you can control, and I thought that's where the Celtics kind of let this game get away from them. Free throws. You can control free throws. You absolutely control how well you make or miss those. Between Jaylen Brown and Time Lord, they missed 6 out of 7 free throws. That can't happen. You just can't blow that many opportunities.
Yeah,
they can't hear us, Kenny.
Back to the basics, man. You guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, back to the basics, man. That's a good point, Sherrod. That's something that the coach is gonna. That gave me like high school flashback. Like, look, you guys lost by this many points. Look how many free throws you missed. But can Ime really say that when he's the one that earned that technical foul? I mean, there's a lot of those opportunities that I thought the Celtics should have capitalized on, especially those free throws. But at the end of the day, it did come back to bite them.
Yeah.
And I thought Tatum today. I mean, overall, last game against Milwaukee, I thought we saw top 5 Tatum. Today was more like top 25 Tatum. He was good, put up good numbers.
But that third quarter, though?
He went from top 55 to top 25 right, because of what he did.
Well, you know what I like, though, Sherrod? What I'll say in this, they were buzzing. They were obviously looking to double. They were playing off other guys, waiting for Tatum to make his move. You could see the way the defense was looking. So they were waiting to smother him at every turn. And it looked for a while in that first half, like Golden State, that first quarter, it looked like they had 6 guys out there. They were just buzzing around the ball. And every time Boston went anywhere near the lane, people were slapping at it. People were And so it took a while for Tatum to get into it. To his credit, I'll say, it wasn't one of those games that he forced the issue. He couldn't get going, and he couldn't find his spots early, and he kind of let it come to him a little bit, which I'll take over him just going 1-on-4, and turning the ball over a ton and going in and hunting fouls and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I didn't think he did that. He actually kind of kept his composure a little bit until he could start to work it. And he definitely started feeling it there in the third. So you're right. Like, you want to see more of an impact in a game like this when you're down this many people. But I actually, I'm tough on Tatum a lot. This was one where I'm going to, Josue's got company.
Josue,
there's so many people up here.
Whose club box are you in right now, man?
This place, this is the most packed I've seen it up here with spectators, man. Like, it's usually half media, half spectators.
You're in a Robert Kraft suite or something, man?
It's like 70 spectators, 30 media members, man.
Let me ask you this real quick.
And they want to leave. Nobody wants to leave.
What's the practical joke you told? What's the joke you told Bobby where you sent him to a spot where he could get a good shot? Because literally, he's like, Josue told me to go here, and it's just pitch black around him.
He's in a bat cave right now.
I don't know what to tell him. I'm sorry. He's gonna have to come sit next to me or something, because I don't know how. It's the same exact view, but you got the Celtic stuff in the back instead. I got the.
You know what it is, Josue? These games, anybody who's loosely affiliated with the TD Garden or the Celtics, they get like a family member who wants to go to the game. They just toss them here. Take this pass.
Head up to 9.
Yeah, head up to 9 and go find a seat. Don't make eye contact with anybody. That's why you got like 100 more people, or probably 1,000 more people up there.
How funny would it be as Jimmy was saying that someone just hands me a beer? I'm like, thanks, bro.
Yeah.
With all the people around me, it does. I'm sure it looks like I'm in like a nice like suite, take it in the game, but no, it's not the case.
What was the so this is typically my favorite. This isn't a shocker, but Celtics Warriors has always been just a electric atmosphere and such a fun game to go to. Did it feel that way tonight? pregame and everything.
It did, and I tell you why, Jimmy. The way this team came out after halftime, because trust me, you've been here plenty of times, Jimmy. You know when this crowd's getting ready to just say, you know what, F this, I'm out. And they had about 2 minutes to make up for the first half in that opening, second or third quarter rather. And this team just really lit things up. It got the crowd into it. I thought they played a part for sure in that third quarter to keep that rally going to the end. And the fourth quarter was up for grabs, but of course. The Warriors refocused, at the end of the day, but you can't fault the Celtics for the way they were getting buckets. Most teams would have just said, okay, now it's Tatum and Brown to take over, but they didn't do that, and I thought that worked for the better. Guys like Richardson was making threes. Guys were more involved. You want that to be the case, regardless of who you're playing against, regardless of the situation. So I don't hate the Celtics approach, but again, it's for this one. I think it was back to the basics in the sense of you have to capitalize on those free throws and those little minor or depending how you look at it, those little tweaks here and there is how you beat a team like the Golden State Warriors when you fall down by 20 in the first half.
Especially when you don't have all your guys around. I mean, you weren't just missing a couple of guys. You were missing really key core type of guys. I would love to have seen Grant Williams that we've seen this year play against a guy like Draymond to see how he handles that matchup. Would love to have seen Al Horford out there, doing what Al does as far as facilitating, rebounding, helping stretch the floor, those type of things. And to have those pieces missing, and yet as soon as this game comes down to like the last couple of minutes, if you're the Celtics, you have to feel kind of good about that. But that, to your point, Josue, there were so many little things that they could have done a little bit better at that would have dramatically changed this outcome. And free throw shooting is one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what are we going to do?
Get them in.
Talk about free. I mean, they missed the free throws. I mean, it's unfortunate.
We're not doing the free throw show.
What the hell? What can we say other than what the hell is wrong with them?
Show the film, John. Show the film.
Yeah,
make them. Oh, watch here. Here's where he misses. Yep, long. That one's long.
There's probably an old Red Auerbach like fundamentals video on free throws.
Okay, I'll do you one.
Nick
better.
Josue will fire up for us.
I'll do you one better. How about this? How about the fact that, and I said this to Grenham, who's sitting next to me, right? Chris Grenham from Forbes. I said, how about Robert Williams finally
CLNS
makes mid-range? Yeah, right? He finally makes that mid-range jumper that he's missed for like the last 2 months, and then they wave it away. Fast forward, next possession, Steph Curry gets 2 opportunities to get a wide open 3. He's not going to miss the second one, regardless if he's right above Lucky, almost near the logo, and he drains it. Like, that was just those sort of swings just really did this team in. All of a sudden, it was a 10-point game after that.
There was a lot of them. I mean, that 10-0 run late there, obviously with the back-to-back Curry threes, couple of bogus calls, that friggin' ridiculous one on Richardson. And again, you're not going to call that for the thing, but
but it felt like the clock was just like slowly going. Like the clock didn't want the game to end. It's like, come on, Celtics, get back in this. You know, it was such a long fourth quarter, but in a good way for the Celtics down the stretch. But they just came up short.
It was frustrating. Frustrating game only because, again, as you said, Jimmy, not a game you expect to win, but a game they could have won if they executed better. And so it's a bummer. But, I mean, we just keep riding this friggin' roller coaster. And the problem, again, for now, we're talking about a game and a season and almost 30 games, is there's always reasons. There's good enough reasons for why they're not playing better. And then you see glimpses like last game, which was their best game of maybe their best game of the year against, a quality team. And then you kind of get back into this and they're out a bunch of guys and they coulda, shoulda, woulda. And you don't know how to feel about this one. It's just, it's exhausting. It's exhausting. This ride with this team right now,
What did you guys think of Jalen tonight?
Sloppy Joe.
Oh,
Sloppy J. I thought he came on a lot better in the second half, I guess, like everyone else. But there was I wasn't obviously at the game, but according to Twitter, a lot of people said that Ime kind of led into him and Cantor at one point in the first half. And I think after that may have woken him up a little bit. He seemed active
in the first quarter. Yeah. I mean, I know he was a little bit sluggish or slow or whatever it was to start, but I thought he kind of came around.
So his numbers are better than his play.
I
His
agree.
numbers look way better than his play. Because, I mean, he had 20 points, shot 50% from the field. But, damn, he had 5 turnovers.
He made some
And
bad
he was
choices.
sloppy, yeah.
He made lots of bad choices. So
He went back to that classic. I'm gonna lose my footing, but not sure where to pass it to. And then Warriors defenders were everywhere. You know,
Yeah.
it seemed like as soon as he left his feet,
Well,
it was like they were waiting on it.
Bad turnover in the end, towards the end there when he dribbled it off his leg.
Oh man,
That was bad. I mean, that was.
And I love the way Jalen and
they were passing.
Tatum were playing off each other, but they couldn't. Neither one could capitalize.
It's again, there was a lot to like off this game. Like Marcus Smart, like, you know, I didn't even waste getting angry. I didn't even waste any anger about what happened at the end of the first half. Like, it sucked and it was boneheaded. And then, I mean, he wiped all of it away in like a minute and 15 seconds of the third quarter, just friggin' flying all over the place. And then at the end there, you know, you got the two biggest grit guys in the league both going for a ball, and who gets it? Friggin' Marcus outdives Draymond, you know, on a critical play
by like an inch.
It's awesome. He was awesome. He was all over the place. He was everywhere. The way his passing, he found Smart on a nice little one underneath with that monster dunk there. I mean, found Rob.
For the lob.
Oh my God. I mean, so many different things that he did tonight. He was good when they were shutting down and they couldn't get to their spots. When Tatum and Brown were struggling getting into the paint, Smart was getting into the paint. Like, I thought he did a lot of good things tonight. So there was a lot, and the energy. That third quarter is probably one of their better quarters of the season in terms of both ends of the floor sort of energy. And again, it was still just sloppy enough where they could have probably taken a lead there and entered that fourth with a 6-8 point lead. So there was plenty to like. It's just frustrating. Yeah.
Look, they win 75-80% of the games they play like this. They win.
Yeah.
And that's the one silver lining I think that they got to take away from this. But you got to close that damn gap on that other 20%. I mean, you got to find ways to get these games because right now you've had too many damn games like this where you've been just right there, and then you get Charlie Brown and wind up on your ass.
But again,
was Charlie Brown the guy that came in the second quarter when Romeo went out? Jimmy was checking his. Jimmy's checking his program.
I have to text you guys. Did I miss an announcement? Did they make a trade? Did I even catch? 97. I was like,
you talking about Thomas, kid?
Broderick,
Broderick Thomas.
He called him Tomas.
Yeah.
I mean, when you reach that deep into your depth chart, that there's got to be some level of injuries going on with the team right now. But this is
a very regular conversation. Just for I'll get back to you, Jimmy, but for the viewers at home, a very regular type of conversation we have in our text thread is Bobby Manning saying, "Oh my God, I love such and such. We need to blank something," and then Jimmy and I will be like, "Who?"
Wait, time out. I think I actually said unsubscribe yesterday in the text.
Stop talking about these random people. There's only so many names I can hold in my head, and Broderick Thomas is not one of them.
And you can't just throw in a number 97 and not have Jimmy just for like, who is this dude? Like,
I was like, I did a triple take. I actually pulled up the roster. I was like, okay, am I gonna have to talk about this guy tonight? If he's gonna play all game, I'm gonna have to talk about this guy tonight. I was about to do my famous YouTube highlight reel research, but I didn't get to that. Didn't get that deep into the game.
Jimmy did one of these. Like, that's not Hauser.
Yeah, literally, I was like, who is that?
Jimmy watches it's one of those games. Jimmy watches the first half from Twitter, and he's like, oh crap, who is this?
Damn.
I gotta go do research now.
I have to go pull up. Pull up the main Red Claws. I'm on the main Red Claws trying to navigate their website.
They're not the Red Claws, Jimmy. They're the Celtics. The main Celtics. Get it right.
Always the Red Claws to me. They're always the Red Claws to me.
Damn,
you're just so passionate about it, huh? That's he's just so passionate about it.
They should have kept it the Red Claws. They named it the Red Claws as paid tribute to Red Auerbach. That was one of the things they wanted to name it the Red Claws. Then they were like, you know what? Screw Red. We're just gonna call them the Celtics. I'm not gonna.
Is that part of it? The Red Auerbach?
Yeah, that was part of it. That was original. Originally, what the thinking was.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought it was just whatever. It's like when people have to think about your name, it doesn't work. Like, you ever see the movie That Thing You Do, and they call themselves the Wonders, but they spell it O-N-E, Durs, and everyone's like the Oneaters, and they're like, oh, forget it.
Well, that was like the Beatles. I had no idea that it was Beatles, like the beat of a music. I was like, why the hell?
Yeah.
Well, I figured
Call
that
themselves the Beatles.
the red lobsters. That's what they love.
Right. Well, it's a double on. It's what's the word? Double
entendre.
Yeah, double entendre.
Double on.
You had it, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Don't say it like a question, man. Just go with it.
That's what it was, though.
Act
now
as if,
just,
buddy. Act
now
as if.
it's just the Celtics, like whatever. Good for SEO, I guess, right?
Jimmy was afraid he was going to say double entendre or something like that.
I was going to say like double entendre. I think I was going to say.
He's going
to get real creative accents at the end. Yes, there is the Maine aspect of it too, like lobsters of Maine. So there was like
there's like a triple entendre.
Triple.
Oh, yeah.
Triples are good. Triples are good.
I think triple in the nose. I think I'm not surprised that you. I'm surprised you haven't sent Bobby up there yet. He's literally like, you think he's joking.
He's itching to go. No, he's
just waiting for me to say, "Okay, Bobby, I'll pay for it."
He wants you to pay for that train ticket. On the weekends it's only $10. You should just. I made that up actually. I think it's $10.
You totally made that up, Jimmy.
If you stay in Massachusetts. No, wait. You know what? I don't think I made that up. You can actually just pay $10 and you can go anywhere on the train
in the world for $10. I know. Jimmy.
No. I think it's. I know you can go to Providence.
No, that's
maybe you can go to
Jimmy.
Maine.
That's the Red Lobster buffet. That's not Maine.
No, I'm telling you, there's like a weekend promotion that the MBTA is doing.
That's actually Red Lobster.
Where are my train people at? Where are my people I'm taking the train at? Back me up here.
They're homeschooling, Jimmy. They're homeschooling.
They're all home.
$10,
the
damn it.
MBTA that's based in Mass is making trips to Maine. All right,
They go. Yeah, they
for
go
for $10. Yeah.
They go over state lines, Josue. We're the United States here.
Amtrak's gonna be out of business in no time.
Let's bring in this fool. What's up, Bobby?
What's up? What's going on?
What anything out of the post game we're talking about?
I think you just froze the show for a bit.
Bobby, anything out of the post game?
No, just disappointment with the rebound, the loose balls. That was something I didn't mention in my minute there talking at the beginning of the show. That was weird.
It was a good minute though.
The amount of offensive rebounding that the Warriors pulled off early in this game on Boston. I mean, they couldn't hold down a single rebound.
A lot of them were long rebounds too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was disappointing. It wasn't something Udoka expected to impact them, and it did in a big way early. I think they had 5 in the first quarter, Golden State. 3 on that first play where Wiggins was just volleyballing it. So Freedom didn't do all that much to address that. I thought his runs were pretty rough with that bench unit there. That was the big theme of what Ime was talking about.
Are we really starting this with Ennis was the problem?
Yeah, it was disappointing you had to use him in this one with all the other 4s and 5s out. This is a horrible matchup for him. And then that big shot by Iguodala played a big role in this one too. He actually defended that one fairly well. Just a crazy shot that he hit there. But otherwise, just helping.
I'm blaming him.
Stuff. I mean, he was the team worse plus minus, and pretty rough bench stretches from him and those guys out there. It wasn't all him, but just an array of guys
this is
off
sad
the
to
bench
hear.
that couldn't contribute against Golden State. Whether it was Pritchard, who again non-factor in this one. Neesmith came and went. Langford disappearing with another injury there. Let's see if they'll get him back. There wasn't much of an update on him in the post game.
If he plays tomorrow, I wouldn't let him play. If your team is that shorthanded, and if he can go tomorrow and he couldn't tough it out tonight, just go away. Seriously.
Weird situation on that play too. Josue was talking about that. Like no one really coming over, and
because I think they thought he was trying to sell it for a while.
Yeah, but that's not. That shouldn't be. You gotta have your boy. Gotta have your back on that one, or at least the medical staff. It's like everyone just sort of looked at each other. And was like, "You want to go? No, he got it. He's good.
Dude,
by the way,
is he down again?
By the way, who is the number 1 defensive rebounding team in all of basketball this season? Does anybody know?
The Boston Celtics.
Who knows? That's my least favorite stat.
It's the Warriors.
Warriors.
And the number 1 defense too.
Yeah,
number one defensive rebounding team in all of basketball. So, it is what it is.
Kidding.
Yeah,
Rob got his hands on a lot of balls on the offensive
and
end,
he can't grab them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Wow.
But that
I'm gonna have to
lineup:
lower my headphones
Chiozza,
here.
Bielitsa, Wiggins, Lee, Iguodala. That's the one that killed you. Steph Curry didn't even really kill you in this one.
No, he wasn't that
With
good.
30 points.
And fall out.
Yeah, missed
We
a lot
talked
of.
about that. This was a game where Steph
Yeah.
Curry was not on his game. Yes, he had a few big shots and he had some, his typical dribbling and ball handling that he does, but he missed some wide open threes. He missed some shots at the rim. Like, this was a winnable game, and that's where the disappointing factor comes in. It's not so much that you're disappointed in like the effort. Although that being said, what can we talk about again? Another horrible start by the Celtics. I mean, this is their Achilles heel. You can't go down. You're lucky that you even made this into a game, because if you go down 20 points to the Gold Bears, there's a good chance you're not sniffing a comeback, or your offense just can't keep up. The only reason they were able to is because Curry wasn't on his game tonight, and Warriors in general weren't like that automatic on the offensive end. And the Celtics caught a little lightning in a bottle and made a nice comeback. But you can't go down 20 like they have been in these games, and that's what Ime's been talking about. These starts to these games, they come out with no energy or whatever it is, and no effort and confusion. And I think that's why you started Ime yelling at the players.
Well, Andrew Wiggins was a problem.
I was going to say,
particularly in the first half. Andrew Wiggins was a major
that's
problem.
what crushed him.
And that you're right. I mean,
he's not.
Steph Curry said, he's not what?
They made him into a problem
tonight. He was a problem tonight.
I think they contributed to that, right? With the lack of.
We do have Marcus. We do have Marcus at the podium here. I'm gonna hop and be right back.
Jimmy, what was that?
Jimmy, was that a Banaka?
Don't worry about it.
We can't smell you, man. You're good.
Just a little tree farm festival, making the place smells like Christmas trees up in here. As you can see, I'm getting into the Christmas spirit a little bit, so pick this up today. No free ads, but
cover
no free ads, but
cover that up. We don't do that.
Tree farm festival. It's a spray. No candles. I don't have any candles lit right now, so I don't want to. But I still want to get the aromas going. I have candles are downstairs, but
but you got the wooden. Maybe stay away from.
I got some beams here that I don't really want to. I really don't want to. These things will go up quickly.
You probably got some lacquer on it, some really flammable stuff,
This is an old building. I imagine this place would go up very quickly, so I don't want to have anything to do with that.
Yeah, I feel like it was almost a flashback of what Boston did last week in LA, but that second quarter I felt like just really pushed the Celtics back. I mean, that 20-point hole, and then to end things off, you pulled to within 10 before halftime. And then a 4-point swing because of an awful, stupid foul by Marcus Smart. Like, John, he did make up for it, in that third quarter, but that was huge.
It was bad.
Those are the kind of plays that come back. Those are the kind of plays that the basketball gods, I feel like, are going to make you pay for it later on. And, that 4 points, I mean, the Celtics really needed those 4 points down the stretch. And, you combine the terrible foul along with an awful reaction or a poorly timed reaction by Ime Udoka, who got the tech, and that was the 4 points. I
think he wanted to send a message there, but yeah, he was hunting for that tech. He was pissed off. Didn't like the way it was going.
I mean, just wait like 0.1 more seconds and then say something on your way out.
you get the tech to start the third quarter too. That's not a great way.
They may have let that one slide.
Just get him in the tunnel. Say a little something in the tunnel.
Yeah, something on the way out.
Real quick, while Bobby's listening to Marcus Smart, we'll tell you about one of our sponsors here, LinkedIn, and this is for you can get a job. Go get a job, if you want.
New year, new job. How about
on
that,
LinkedIn?
Guys?
But what we're advertising here is if you want to post a job, if you're a small business like us here at CLNS Media, we use LinkedIn a lot, looking for talent. Yeah, geez, are you kidding me?
I know we do.
Yeah, we do it.
I don't know why we wouldn't.
Exactly. So you should too. You can get a lot of people are a little, worried about doing it and, out of the jump here. So if you want to kind of dip your toe in, test the waters, you get to post one free job here. If you go there, linkedin.com/garden, create a free job post in minutes. Reach your network beyond the world's largest professional network of, Josue, say it with me, 770 million people.
700 million.
It's unbelievable. I don't know where we found all these humans.
That number doesn't even make sense in my head.
0 bots.
These are real people. Focus on candidates with the right skills.
They all want 9 to 5s.
Like adults?
Yeah.
In the world?
Yeah. Everybody's looking for that 9
many?
And the cool thing about this is you don't even have to have a business to go on LinkedIn.com/Guardian. You can just be like, you know what?
You don't need Bitcoin.
I want to hire like an intern to just do some stuff for me. And you might not even have a business, but you know what? You can go hire somebody anyways.
Yeah.
You guys can
Right.
figure out the details, whatever you want to pay or not. We don't care. We don't
Go
care.
check it out.
Yeah, just go out there and hire somebody.
Just hire somebody,
Just
right?
hire
go out
somebody.
there and hire somebody.
LinkedIn
you can
jobs.
literally hire somebody for free.
Yeah. Number one,
cost you
delivering
nothing.
quality hires versus your leading competitors. And if you're just some guy hiring somebody, really anybody is your competition at this point.
Right.
So again, LinkedIn.com/garden. Post that first job for free. Go out and get some. Guys, any other thoughts on this? What's that?
Someone said is Project Thomas on LinkedIn.
I mean,
no, that man has a job.
That's where the Celtics found him actually before the game. Yeah.
He's got a job. Yeah, maybe.
well,
Broderick Thomas slander.
Yeah.
For real.
I have to imagine all the guys they
He might
lost
be on the
tonight
train
are
back.
not going to get out of COVID protocols for tomorrow. So you're going to be shorthanded as well. You don't know what's going on with
You might
Dennis
have Schroeder.
Schroeder. Yeah, who had a non-COVID illness, and Romeo, if that neck miraculously heals and he can return. I mean,
People are so mean to Romeo, man. That was a tough.
I
hit.
was actually
It's bad luck if anything. It's not like
This
he's
is gonna
he's
shock
soft.
you guys. I
People got
missed
so
that.
mad.
it's a contact sport. Get up. You know,
I
if
tried to watch
if
the
he's got a
video.
concussion, it's a different story. You know, but I mean,
Well, that's what I was gonna say.
right.
I just don't know. I couldn't. I haven't seen it. So I can't really comment on it. But if it was a concussion, then that would make sense. But you know what, though? I feel like they would have said
No, they definitely would have said it's a
concussion-like symptoms or something like that. You know what I mean? They test for that stuff like pretty quickly.
People asking if there's going to be a Spaces. We did Twitter Spaces the other night. It was enjoyable. We are not going to do it tonight. We're not going to do it after every game. We will do it from time to time. We are going to do one before the Patriots game tomorrow. I'll tell you guys more about the Pats stuff if you want to join us. We got a double dip tomorrow, Celtics postgame and a Patriots postgame show. So definitely make sure to check that out.
We should just combine postgame shows and just be mayhem. I'm sure Lazar would love that.
Yeah.
I don't think he would.
He loves his hoops, man. He's a season ticket holder.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Well, his family, he's been going his whole life. He's a big Celtics guy. If he wasn't doing this,
he's not afraid to rip into them either, which is good.
He knows his stuff. He knows his basketball. Absolutely. I mean, he's a savant with football, of course, but he knows his hoops pretty well. He could jump on this show and he'd have some strong
He probably
opinions.
has film breakdown of Celtics and we don't even know it.
He knows more about it than we do. Yeah,
For sure.
probably.
For sure. It's funny.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm putting a bow on this one because there's some other things I want to talk about as well, but we'll, just this game, it's tough. I don't know what you're going to do. I don't want to get deep into the COVID protocol stuff either. It's a mess. They got to figure it out. The NFL's changing their rules. NBA might have to as well. You can't be losing 4 and 5 dudes and have them out for 5-6 days at a time. It's just unsustainable right now. So Celtics are really feeling it. We'll see what happens if the league gets together and starts figuring some stuff out. Obviously, news today involving Kyrie Irving. We'll get into that in a little bit. But, guys, anything more on the game?
Friend.
No.
I'll defer to you guys. I'll ask this question: are the Warriors your guys' favorites to win the whole thing?
I don't know.
Don't all jump at
I'm
once.
torn between them and Phoenix.
I kind of like Phoenix. Yeah, me too. I kind of like Phoenix.
But don't.
They've kept
they
this,
get Clay,
kept this
but
race
Warriors
going.
get
They
Clay
both-
back and have a little bit of that, been there, done that sort of thing when it comes
Right,
to
it's
winning
sort of like the
championship.
flashy against the hard-nosed working group, right? Like I like the contrast between those two. So, but yeah, I sort of like the underdog feel to the Suns. So,
I'd rather have the Suns. I think the Suns are a blast, and I get tired of watching the same team win all the time. But the Warriors are a lot of fun to watch too. So I mean,
They're so
either way,
fun. And I
it's
like their personalities.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was gonna say I think John's hating this Western Conference future matchup, Western Conference Finals matchup.
I love the personality. I love Steph. Clay is one of my favorite players, favorite personalities in the game. I love Klay Thompson. This is, to me, like when they were killing people, like it sucked for the competitive balance. I thought it was an easy team to root for. This wasn't one of those dynasties where I'm like, lose, I mean, and even Draymond, I appreciate it. You know, he drives me freaking crazy, but all in all, like, I love that this team exists. I like that they're kind of back into it because that was a really fun, dominant run.
Like like a re-up, yeah.
I love these guys. I like that Wiggins is playing better too. I like that Iguodala literally will never retire.
Especially the way he looked tonight. Jeez.
Yeah, they made him look like he's got 5 more years to go.
Stripping guys. What was it? Was that Thomas that didn't even know where he was after he lost that ball?
One thing.
Not Draymond. Iguodala was on his way up, and he was still in motion to make a layup. He's like, "Wait, where did the ball go?" And he was gone.
One thing I did want to talk about from tonight, because we alluded to it briefly, so I'll just throw it out to you guys. I'm doing a full heel turn here on Rob. What's wrong with this guy, man? What's wrong with him? He looks. It's back to old Rob. He can't grab rebounds.
Old Greg.
It's the most perplexing player of my lifetime. He'll at times do the single most coordinated thing I've ever seen a human being do, contort his body in a weird way, catch something with his left hand, dunk it over the back of his head, land on his tiptoes and like do a little ballet move and he's fine. And then literally there's a ball in front of him and he goes to grab it and he friggin' bounces off his chin and out of bounds. Like, I can't figure this guy out at all. Sometimes he's got a basketball IQ that you think he's a friggin' genius, and other times he just looks completely clueless. He's either his motor moves and sometimes it stops. I can't figure this guy out. It's like he's being controlled by levers or something. And then just sometimes somebody forgets to pull the lever and the thing doesn't go, you know? I can't figure him out, man. I can't do it.
You should stop trying.
Somebody say something.
Listen, I'm going to keep my Romeo.
We're worried about you, John. All right, I'll say it. We're all worried about you.
Everyone's looking at me. Is it my problem?
I mean, for me,
is this an intervention?
I feel like
it's not your fault, John. John, it's not your fault.
It's been him trying to find his offense. Yeah, it's not your fault.
Him, not
John,
your
it's fault,
him, not
John.
you. It's him,
John,
not
it's
you.
Your fault.
John starts crying. Don't do this to me.
Stop saying this, man.
Don't do this to
doing
me.
it.
Seriously.
No, it's frustrating for sure. And I mean, like you said, you don't really know what you're gonna get on any given night. You know why it's so frustrating? Because you've seen him at his best, right? You've seen him at his literal highest, is like a foot above the rim, and then you see him like, I'm not gonna say tonight, over other nights, but other nights where he just kind of blends in, and it's almost like, yeah, he's capable of throwing it down if Marcus Smart makes an unbelievable pass to him. Yeah, sure. But like, it almost feels like sometimes he's not capable of doing enough on his own. Somebody said in the comments he's just another DeAndre Jordan. I think that's a little mean. I think that's a little mean. Let's not go there.
That's the word.
Hey, DeAndre back in his day, though? Oh,
yeah, he was
better than this.
But he couldn't score outside the circle. That was the problem with DeAndre Jordan.
The greatest, I've said this one before, but one of my favorite quotes of all time is Charles Barkley talking about DeAndre Jordan's offensive game. He's like, if you locked him in a gym all night long and said he had, with a basketball and said he couldn't dunk, he'd wake up in the morning with 2 points.
Right. Yeah, it's true.
I just think his offense has always been limited, though. I mean, defensively, he hasn't looked like himself, but you see those flashes. I just think he's just unsure of himself on offense, Even when he has the ball in the paint and he has literally just have to turn around and look up, he'll turn the other way and look for the best pass, I just think he just gets flustered on offense as soon as he has the ball in his hand. And without thinking, he finally makes a jump shot and it's wiped away,
I don't know, man.
I think you got to adjust your expectations a little bit.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the thing is we had this, right? Like we did this. We've seen this Rob, and we had expectations for what he might be, which is a role player or a guy who could come in and, a couple of lobs, block
your
some
expectations
shots.
Were unbelievable. You were literally saying,
wait, stop. This was 2 years. This was 2 years ago. Then last year,
going back 2 years. Okay.
Last year, he completely changed the narrative around him because he was doing stuff we hadn't seen before. He was passing great. He was playing with confidence. He was knocking down literally 80% of his shots. He was hitting jumpers from time to time. He looks like he's like he lost the playbook And like, what am I supposed to do when I'm out here now? He looks completely out of sorts now. I don't know what it is.
I don't have that. I don't think any of us have the answer you're looking for. I will
This is
say
a
that
one.
your expectations
Somebody tell me
got
something.
way out
This
of
is part
control
of
when you
the
were
process.
you were saying, John, that
Bobby,
he
what's
was
wrong
like
with
a
Rob?
future defensive player, MVP type player and all this stuff. And I was like,
Who?
pump the brakes, bud.
Bobby, what's wrong with Rob?
John was saying that about Rob.
I'm saying, what happened to him?
On my side here.
He backslid.
I
He's
mean,
gonna
bigger
do that.
minutes for sure. Yeah, you were just getting in smaller doses against second units last year. Now he's going against first units. For
11-2 with him as a
game.
starter, and it was the best basketball they played all year. And when his minutes ramped up, so I don't want to see. Let's not say exactly that. And he was playing
Probably a little
closing
bit of
minutes
the
too.
space.
11-2
Yeah.
is a Bobby size level sample size.
It doesn't matter.
That is a small sample size.
Doesn't matter. We were begging for it because it had
he
to
looked
happen,
amazing
and when it did, he looked amazing. We didn't imagine this last year. We didn't.
No, I know we didn't, but it was also, again, in my opinion, a small sample size and lesser minutes, like Bobby said.
But he was good all year.
He was good all year, but he was good, like Bobby just said, coming off the bench, playing against second units, playing 15 minutes or 12 minutes a game. We were pulling our hair out because we wanted to see it. You know, his PER last year, my stat, was up there in like the top 10 of the NBA, and he was playing half of the minutes that everybody else was around him. So we were saying this guy needs to be playing more. Well, now he's playing a little bit more, and maybe we're starting to see some of the flaws in his game, whether it's mental, whether it's physical. I don't know what it is, and that's why I wish I had the answer for John, but I just don't.
I don't know. He regressed, I thought.
He's just going to be up and down all season. I because to me, that's who this team is. That's their identity. They're consistently inconsistent, and Rob is a great example of that. Someone who can be literally the best big on the floor on a night where he's playing against other great bigs, or he can be below average against a bunch of below average bigs. And he should have dominated this game offensively. I felt that there was opportunities where he should have been more forceful.
Well, he's underdeveloped offensively. Doesn't have the jumper, doesn't hit the free throws, doesn't really have much outside the pick and roll, and you don't have too many pick and roll ball handlers on this team.
Nope.
And Golden State did a good job of taking away the lob too. They were keyed in on that.
They were dropping back. Yep.
Yeah. It's easy to drop off these guards too.
Easy to drop off it. Yeah.
He's hurt by this team, and you don't have shooters here either, spacing the floor around him. Physically, he's looked fine to me all along this year, and honestly, the minutes he's putting out there for what he's doing have been good in my opinion. The net rating's real strong with him. He's been impactful. He just hasn't taken over games. He hasn't making a leap. He hasn't progressed off last year. Unless you count the defensive strides, being able to survive, not following as much and lasting over a greater amount of minutes. I count that as strides for him, certainly. It's just not as impactful as you would have imagined it being over a greater sample size. Like if we looked at his per 36 last year and what that would have translated to this year, it hasn't matched that. You were expecting massive numbers from him over 36 minutes.
And plus, I think opposing defenses too. They're hip to the lob. They take that away from him, and you take that away from Rob, his offense diminish. It diminishes in a big way. And you see Ime, especially in the preseason and media day before the season started, talking about evolving his offense. But he even said it himself, like it's going to take a bit. It's going to take a while. And on the defensive end, you want to see him be more aggressive and be more of that guy we saw in Spurs last season, but he's not always like that, On the
I know.
I want. He's always been limited.
He's still.
Yeah, go ahead, Jimmy.
He's still kind of a project in a way. I mean, when you talk about Rob, you talk about what you think he's capable of based on what you've seen in spurts, and I think that's his value right now. I mean, honestly, if you're ever talking about including Rob in a trade for another, a star or something that comes back. You're trading him, selling him to a team basically on the hope that he turns into a player that you think he can be. You're not basing it on here's this long list of games and production that you have that you can rely on him. You're basing it on, okay, well, we've seen him capable of doing this. We've seen him do this in Spurs. We've seen him do this on this game. But they're all just as many games, if not more, where he's, just kind of another guy on the court or, a step behind, or like Bobby said, just not polished on the offensive end. So that's the problem right now, is that you're in this point with Rob's career where you're expecting a lot more than what you're actually getting.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty disappointed as you know, from the start of the season all the way through, because I think he showed up out of shape. I don't think he showed up buff from working out.
Yeah,
I think he just showed up heavy. Doesn't look to me like he practiced basketball in the offseason, because there wasn't any particular skill that got better, and you didn't hear anything about it. Like, oh yeah, I worked on blank. It was just like, I'm here. I am Rob Williams. And that was it.
It was like, I hope to play 60 games.
I hope to play 60 games, like really lofty friggin' goals,
His hands weren't great in this one either. So many drop balls.
No, that was what was killing me. It's just like I said, you see him do the most graceful things, and then you see him just batting the ball around. It was just such a mess, Still,
though, his minutes defensively out there, they held it down. I mean, they shut off the Warriors for large stretches of this one. That group with him in center and the three wings and Smart early in the fourth there.
And again, the merits of a three-wing lineup, Bobby, and we talked about it, and I saw you tweeted it there. I mean, that's why I was psyched. The one strange thing about tonight that I was excited about, with all of the, you're not happy that a whole bunch of guys went into COVID protocols, but it forced the issue where they had to play the three-wing lineup, and a lot of us were like, finally, let's see what it looks like. And then Romeo was terrible.
There wasn't, unless you were going to do Rob and Freedom, there wasn't a double big lineup.
Richardson was possible, but he was going to play. They were going to play an extra guard there for sure. And
Richardson, awesome in this one again. Just coming back again, hitting shots, making plays, defending. There's no case. I said this on the text thread during the game, for any of these young guys over him right now. We thought someone was going to blow by him, and he is just levels above all these young wings and guards on this roster.
But that's not the argument we were making last year, Bobby, to be fair. What we were saying is, what you have in these guys, or in the guys that they're playing, but you want to see the ceiling of the younger players, which you'll never reach unless you give them consistent minutes. So you can't play Neesmith for 10 seconds one game and be like, look, he stinks and this guy's better. You need to bite the bullet and play him for 20 games, 15 to 18 minutes a night, to see if he can give you consistent effort. This in and out thing and out of the rotation and not knowing where you're playing is impossible to gauge whether or not they're actually good.
But what coach is going to play a guy who's worse than another player just for development? I mean, this isn't a developmental
a lot of teams.
It's not about who's a better player. It's about fit. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. I mean, that's why you see certain guys, like, for example, Luke Williams in Atlanta has been one of the best top 5 players on pretty much every team he's played for, but he comes off the bench because he fits in well with what they're looking to do in the reserve role as opposed to a starter. Same thing with a guy like Jamal Crawford, for years. So it's not that unusual. But
and
there
are
Bobby, it's
these
hard
young guys have to show you something.
There are other teams that do that,
right?
though, Bobby. There are other teams that spend a lot more time developing their younger players, because they know that they're
losing teams.
But they know that they're going to need them. They know that you're going to need them down the road. When you're burning those assets by not developing the players or giving them a chance to develop, then you're stuck in this cycle. Like, you can find these guys all over the place. Like, if it's not Josh Richardson, it'll be someone else of his ilk. You can find these guys and give them $13, $14, $15 million and get stuck in a cycle of mediocrity, which is fine. Or you can try to develop your younger players and risk not being as good, but also the possible reward of them being better. I'm not saying they will. Right now, we're not sure. All of the early returns are not great, but you'll never get there by just playing them sporadically. You have to commit and say, and you were seeing it. You're seeing it a bit from Romeo. He can't.
You see little things. Our expectations.
He can't quite get there.
What the Spurs are. Yeah.
But I think that's why you can't carve out that, every single game,
The young guys in this league who show you promise, they'll put up a 20-point game out of nowhere. I mean, who is it on Miami, Sherrod? Gabe Vincent comes off the bench for them and hit 7 threes yesterday. Could you fathom Romeo, Pritchard, Neesmith, any of these guys doing that, even with the opportunity? I mean, we've seen them.
Individually or combined, no.
Parts. Yeah. So at the end of the day, I agree with you, John, in premise, develop, find.
Yeah, but these guys might not be it. I don't disagree. They might not be it.
Right. I'm almost certain
they're not.
especially someone like Neesmith. I thought this was a golden opportunity to have one of those games.
Oh,
I
he
mean,
missed so many open threes.
wide open threes deep in the corner, and the Warriors are like, why should we respect this guy? He hasn't.
And why is it
proven
taking
to
him
us.
so long to load that shot? Smart found him in the corner. The guy was in the paint, and the guy got all the way out to him by the time Neesmith shot it. I was like, whoa, this load, this flow of Neesmith's progression right now does not look smooth at all. And he never had the quickest release, even in college, but I don't know what's going on there. It just doesn't look right. And he missed a free throw, too.
And some of them are like halfway down the hoop. It's like he's almost there, but he's got it.
Today there were a few in and out. That was a little
in and out.
Yeah.
Green fouled him and bailed him out too.
Yeah, you got to make those shots. Not every single one of them, but you had to see at least half of those go in. Or
Max Strus 32 tonight.
In timely moments.
I'm done with this game.
You're done?
All right, Jimmy. Damn.
49
There's
minute mark.
something. I know you guys were joking around
Your
about
cousin
the
won,
names.
bro. You should be happy.
I know you guys are joking around about the names I throw out there, especially former Celtics at the bottom of the roster, but Max Strus, Garrison Matthews, some of these guys they've had in camp, young players that could have had roster spots. To see them thriving in other places maybe points toward the development of the Celtics here. Maybe it's not Romeo and Neesmith and Pritchard and all these young guys. Maybe they just can't develop any of these young players or mid-tier rotation players. And other teams like Miami and
talking
Toronto.
about guys like Garrison Matthews?
I can't. That one just makes my head spin at how a team
I threw his name out there to trigger you, Bobby. I fully did that to trigger you. That's.
I just saw on Twitter he just signed a 4-year deal with the Rockets.
Oh yeah.
He's got them all riled up.
You know what though? We can sit here and talk.
That's the first big failure of the Ime Brad era.
I was waiting for John to transition from Max Strus to Kyrie, but
I
guess we're in the Matthews portion of the.
We're gonna get that when you guys are done here. We'll do a little Kyrie and we'll put a bow on it.
You know what though? They shortened the preseason, right? They shortened the time that these guys can get together and meet. So that shortens the time where the coaching staff can really get a good gauge on some of these guys. A guy like Garrison Matthews isn't going to have the role that he has in Houston. He needed that bigger opportunity to show what he was capable of. So good for him. I don't know if
he didn't play at all here.
Exactly. Well, of course. But again, like you shorten the preseason down, you shorten training camp, you shorten all these things down. What are the Celtics supposed to do? Take a flyer on some guys that never played with them, or are they going to go with a veteran that they at least know can play the game of basketball? And you've kind of tied their hands behind their back.
He was a starter with the Wizards, and he had a big sample of three-point shooting through his first 2 seasons, where he was a phenomenal marksman from deep. This wasn't just a G League guy they pulled out of nowhere. I thought it was a heist when Brad signed him. And, I was on Parker's side. And, we said Parker as a 15th man, you can't beat that. So I didn't have all the foresight there, but to see him going off like he is from 3.
Bobby, you failed us.
Yeah. I blame his
fault, Bobby.
Not pretty.
It was a tough call.
Bobby, you should have banged that drum a little louder.
You didn't make a big enough case for him, man.
It's your fault.
You have the power.
The
power of the pen. Sherrod has single-handedly had a number of players signed, whether it's to the Pistons or the Celtics over his career. The power of
By the way, Marcus Smart.
Will Bynum.
Will Bynum actually gives Sherrod 5% of his salary.
That's my guy.
By the way, Will Bynum.
That is your dude.
What's up, Bobby?
Marcus Smart said, I wish it could have been us on Isaiah Thomas signing with the Lakers. Said he advocated for him, but you can only do so much.
Wow. Interesting. Damn. I just saw a clip of, because I was scrolling on Twitter while you guys were talking. Isaiah Thomas checks into the game to a standing ovation tonight for the Los Angeles Lakers.
I like it.
He's played 6 minutes and has 6 points.
Of course. He's a lightning rod. I mean, he's a lightning rod out there.
Well, let's segue. Isaiah's back, and who else is back?
Kyrie Irving.
This guy.
Partially
back.
Here.
They both play for Boston. Both of them are both back.
I guess the shoe post was ominous.
It was.
Yeah. It was. Well, so everyone's all in a tizzy over this because of like the Nets being hypocrites. I'm going to say this. I'm not a Kyrie Irving fan. I obviously am a huge advocate of, following science, getting vaccinated, be safe, do all that stuff. I don't give a crap that the Nets went back on their word and brought him back. The season's crumbling. They've got Durant playing 45 minutes a game. Half your team is out every single week for COVID.
And why are they out, John?
it's fine, but you've got a superstar sitting there, and I know you thought it would have been disruptive to have him play some and not play some. You know what else is disruptive? COVID knocking your guys out for 5 and 6 and 7 games at a time. So ultimately right now, if I'm the Nets, it would be stupid not to bring Kyrie back. Like, I get the hypocrisy.
It would be stupid to bring him back.
Why?
Going crazy?
They're trying to stay on top of the.
They're trying to stay alive here.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. And he's probably going to get COVID like 10 seconds into his first game.
Right.
How's it a good idea to bring him back?
But then he'll be able to play every game after that.
Because they need to win games.
They need to win games. Because they're all getting it, Bobby. They're all going to get it now.
Cross that bridge, and then on the other side, you know.
On the other side of it, he's like, good. Now I got that out of the way. I'm going to play.
Yeah, exactly.
He's not going to spread it any more than anybody else isn't already spreading it. So you might as well play him. The whole, listen. He would be playing if New York allowed him to play. That's what it comes down to. It comes down to the state not allowing him to play. That's how
he would be playing. Started. The state didn't allow him. So the Nets are like, this sucks. So I don't want him here.
He's not the only NBA player playing right now without being vaccinated.
The Nets could have honored this though at the beginning though. So let's not act like it's all on New York. But yeah.
Right.
No, they could have, but they thought it would be distracting, or they thought it would screw up the level of play. But half their team is out now. It's not going to screw anything up because half the guys aren't even on the court to begin with. You have to play bodies. I mean, I totally get where they're coming from by bringing them back to play. Now, do I hope it completely backfires? Yeah, of course I do. But I understand why they're doing it.
Well, I understand why they're doing it, but my issue in all of this, and my issue isn't so much with Kyrie because he made his position clear and he's not budging from that. My issue is with Brooklyn. When you come out as hard as they did in October talking about, we're not going to bring anyone back unless they're all in. This is about, sacrifice and team chemistry building and all this other stuff. And then you hit a bump in the road with COVID now. And all of a sudden, all that stuff that you were talking about, which was supposed to be part of your culture, and all of a sudden that's bullshit. We're just going to bring them back in because we're trying to win games. Don't talk to me about your culture and why you're doing things, and then you do a complete 180 like this. That's my issue. That's my issue with Brooklyn.
I know, but
Sherrod, what about this? What? The what?
The release that they put out there about them bringing him back, using COVID cases as an excuse for bringing back a guy who's unvaccinated and going to be extra prone to picking up COVID. It's just nonsensical. It's beyond all the reasons Sherrod just talked about there. The league's in a crisis mode right now.
I know, but again, Bobby, what's the worst that happens? I mean, he gets it, misses 10 days, then he plays road games again.
Yes, but that's not the point, John. Right now you have 60 cases, 11% of the league, and you have a guy who's going to be on the court, unvaccinated, potentially spreading it to other people.
But there are other Bobby. He's not the only one. Bobby, he's not the only one. That's the point.
He's one of very few.
What we're missing in all of this is there's unvaccinated players currently on the Celtics, and nobody's freaking out over them. The only reason Kyrie
we don't know that for a fact.
We know it because they said it. We didn't hit the threshold. They told us.
If Massachusetts had the same laws that New York does, then we would know a lot more.
We would know a lot more. So the thing is, it's not the outrage over the unvaccinated player. Right now, the outrage is over Nets hypocrisy, which I don't give a crap about. I don't give a crap about it.
Time too. The NBA is really trying to solve a big
I don't give a crap about.
You know what?
It doesn't matter.
Change. You make
it does matter.
You know what, though? Things change. You know, what they said when they said it was probably true at the time. And now what they're saying now, listen, you can't tell me that they would bring Kyrie back.
It's bogus. You know what it is? It's them going out the back door.
Without running it by Kevin Durant and the rest of the team, James Harden, those guys. You don't think they want
They were on board then.
Kyrie back?
I think they started it. I think they started it. They're like, look, we need him back.
So it's just to Sherrod, what Sherrod was saying earlier, how you need to be all in, you need to be all in. I guarantee you the players want Kyrie around the team.
Absolutely.
They believe that Kyrie is all in that sense.
Jimmy's right.
Sure, I don't care about what the players
Jimmy's
say,
there. Back then they didn't. So again, this and like I said, it's the hypocrisy of an organization doesn't matter to me at all. Like you've got like teams like culture, character, blah blah blah, and then they draft a guy who's got like 2 arrests and a domestic issue on his resume, and they're like, I hope nobody notices, and then they feign outrage when people find out about it. People are looking for ways to win at all times. Every franchise does it. Nobody's that classy and nobody's above it. But in this case, it's just simply this was the case then. The case now is screw
That's
it.
not what this is about.
Screw it. We need the bodies. We need the bodies.
Bobby,
They're using a league-wide. I don't care about winning. I don't care about any of the.
No, but I'm saying that. But that's why Brooklyn is doing it. That's what this whole thing's
But they
about.
do.
That's what they're doing.
That's what it's. They do. They care about winning over any perception about their culture, any perception about whether they're hypocrites, which they are. They don't give a f about that. They just care about trying to win.
They just care about winning right now. So I don't care that they're hypocrites. They are hypocrites. I do care that Kyrie's not vaccinated. I think he should be. All of those things could be true. I also don't give a crap that they went back on their word. I really don't. You know,
I don't care. That's not what I'm worried about, John. What I'm worried about is that you are in a crisis situation in the NBA right now, and you are using that as an excuse for bringing back a guy who is not vaccinated. You're introducing, and at this time where vaccinated players.
Bobby, the reality is, I don't want to get into you know where I stand on all of this stuff, and you know my stance is pretty strong right now. I think
I'm not even talking about.
I think Bobby. I think most of these guys aren't, because they took Johnson & Johnson or something 9 months ago, and all of that stuff's worn off, and the Omicron thing is spreading, and everybody's getting it left and right. So even people you're calling vaccinated right now probably aren't, and they're getting dinged with it. So I don't think that Kyrie's inclusion here among other non-vaccinated people, whether their vaccine wore off or they chose not to get it, because there still are a few people that have.
It's not equal.
Makes him unique. It's
not. It's not equal. They are using a situation in the league. This is exactly what they said in the release. We have a situation where our players are getting COVID, where our players are getting injured, so we are bringing this guy back. This is the reason we're doing this. It's not because we changed our mind. It's not because the players changed their mind, although that's in part of it that they mentioned there. We have COVID cases, so we are bringing back a guy who's unvaccinated. I don't care about the hypocrisy preseason versus season now. You have a league right now that's trying to solve this issue, and you have a team now.
And the Kyrie issue is not going to make a big difference.
So then he gets.
You don't think so?
So then he gets COVID, and then he sits out. Like John said, he sits out for the whatever.
That's the problem.
As we said, Bobby, the Celtics confirmed before the season began they had multiple people. They weren't even close to so right now we're gonna get our panties in a bunch.
We're not talking about the Celtics.
But there are people there already doing this. So what's the difference?
The only difference is the state.
The only difference.
I don't know
is
that
the
for
state.
certain.
We do know it for certain. They told us.
Unless they got vaccinated since that statement. So I guess
I don't know if they have or not.
Yeah.
All I know is that the Nets had a stance and they changed it because players are getting COVID.
Which is
That's
fine.
The nonsensical part here.
It isn't. It isn't really. It isn't. It's not nonsensical. Yeah.
Look what you did to Sherrod.
Look, Sherrod got mad and he left.
We're trying to figure out a solution on what's going on in the league right now, and the Nets just completely.
The solution is they have to. The NBA probably has to, like the NFL is doing. They probably have to change what their initial policies were for positive cases of COVID, because if this Omicron variant is extremely or like not, basically no symptoms at all, or it's super, not strong or anything like that, then theoretically maybe they think you can still play. You can play through it, or you can play and take other precautions. I don't know, but I think that's probably the biggest thing. And like John said, if all these guys took the J&J shot however long ago, if it's all worn off by now and no one's gotten their booster, and Kyrie Irving's really not much different than anybody else who got the shot that long ago.
So anyway, at this point, it is what it is. Kyrie is back. What is interesting is obviously it makes the Nets more interesting. It makes the Nets better at least half the games. It's a really interesting thing. How does this work? 6th. How does this
Kyrie
work?
Kyrie will be back in the Garden.
How does this work for Kyrie? Like, is he going to do press conferences where he has to talk about every game he talks, people are going to be like, so you're not going to play the next one, huh? We've never seen anything like this.
I know, right? The initial reason's still going to be there.
It's going to be a distraction, but you know what, guys? This could be Brooklyn's, or it has been Brooklyn's MO from the very beginning, right? Us against the world, us against, no one is convinced, or not even convinced, but no one is a big fan of the three of us coming together. And because of COVID last season, because of injuries, they weren't able to make the deep playoff run that we all anticipated. But then now you turn your eyes on to this season, and you have more distractions and more things in the way. But then this is sort of their MO. This is their makeup at this point. And I think that guys like Durant were like, look, we need some help here. Things have gone south in the sense of everyone is getting sick or
and he's gonna be amazing.
Protocol. So why not just bring this guy on board at this point? And so we can salvage this season and try to be on top again by the beginning of the playoffs.
He's fresh. He's off a 50, 40, 90 season. And, he's a plug and play guy. He's going to make the Nets nearly unstoppable with those three guys rolling right now. It's just, this is going to continue until the playoffs. I don't think New York City's getting rid of those restrictions anytime soon. So in a 7-game series, are they about to play him for the games, I guess?
I don't know.
It's better than 0.
That stuff's going nowhere, and it is going to be a mess, and it's going to be messy, and it's going to be interesting as hell. And he's going to be under a spotlight because you're right, Bobby. Like I said, whether or not Kyrie's contributing to the problem or not doesn't matter because a bullseye's on his back, any more so than anyone else. Like I said, anybody who has an expired vaccine or didn't take one and is playing in the NBA right now or whatever, the bullseye's on his back because of who he is and what he's decided and the stance he's decided to take. So this stuff's going to follow him all over the place,
And the crazy part about all of this, the crazy part about all of this is that without Kyrie, guess who's been the best road team in the NBA? The Brooklyn Nets. So you better believe if
their
they
defense
have
has been
struggles,
phenomenal.
yeah, he is not only is he going to be a catalyst in terms of just the attention that he's going to get by coming back, but if that team loses a couple of games along the way on the road, knowing that he's not going to be able to help them at all at home, he's going to come under even more intense heat and under more intense scrutiny. And Kyrie, we know he generally doesn't give a F about that stuff, but his teammates, they're going to have to clean that mess up. They're going to have to answer those questions. And at some point, players are going to get sick and tired of that crap.
I don't
That's
know.
what I mean.
It's going to happen.
It's going to be
it's going to be a real hot mess. And it's like, I don't think the Nets are understanding what they're getting into by opening this Pandora's box.
Well, they love that, Sherrod. They love that. I mean, this is a defiant group. KD, Harden, Irving. These three do not care what other people say about them. In fact, like John said at the beginning, I do think Kyrie is the back of the players here. I think a lot of guys around the league had a lot of hesitancy about getting the shot, went ahead and did it anyway. So I don't think there's any ill will anywhere in the NBA over what he did here, the decision he made. So they're going to welcome him right back with open arms like they did from the start. I do think there was some confusion there that he actually went ahead and took all this time off here, but now he's back. I think it's telling that the team did make this move. You wouldn't get it without the approval of the players here. So they're going to be a force. I mean, the Celtics got them 3 times over the next month and a half here, and they really haven't come close to touching them the last 2 years here, but they've been fully loaded. So there's a new favorite in the East for sure. I'm worried about the Bucks. I picked the Bucks preseason. They're missing Lopez. I don't think Lopez is coming back. I don't like where their depth is at. DiVincenzo's taking a little bit longer here. Their point guard depth isn't amazing. And the Nets, the defense that they're playing right now, the way Aldridge has gotten rolling, they're going to be so hard to beat.
The thing about Kyrie that you guys are talking about, media. Don't forget, he doesn't have to say boo to the New York media. He doesn't have to go to the arena. He doesn't have to talk to half of the reporters that aren't going to be traveling, I'm sure, or more. I mean, I can't imagine it's even close to what it typically would be. So he's going to avoid a lot of that drama. Yeah, you're going to get
they'll keep it tight.
You'll get the back page headlines. Yeah, I mean, you guys who report on the Celtics, you know how tight the media relations can keep it with making guys accessible or not. I mean, they don't.
Nets are tight on Zoom.
Yeah, there's no locker room that all the reporters are waiting for Kyrie Irving in. So it's not gonna be that big of a distraction at all. If anything, I mean, the Nets just got that much better. They're probably they're happy to go on the road. When the playoffs start, they're happy to be the road team. So, I mean, it's a no-brainer. It's kind of a no-brainer if you're the Nets at this point to do what they're doing.
I think actually they got an exception, Sherrod, right, in New York, that the practice facility is a workplace or something like that. So he might actually be able to practice. Loophole. Yeah, they did some sort of loophole there. So he might actually be able to practice and just be around the team regularly at this point, which, I mean, we are kind of pushing the second half of the season. There's probably some thinking that this is kind of our integration period for him now, and then we ramp up closer to the playoffs. they cross their fingers that New York dumps that restriction by the spring, and then he's back full time. I don't think that's going to happen, especially with the variant rising here now. I don't think there's any chance that restriction gets dumped by the end of the season.
No, they're going to start locking
for some of the games now.
They're going to start locking stuff down in New York, so it's going to be interesting. I think he's stuck with that for a bit, so he's going to have to live in this world for a while. Because New York's not going to change it.
Today was the biggest case day ever in New York.
Yeah. Yeah, it's getting messy, but Kyrie's back, always polarizing. We've got, obviously, a bunch of friggin' doctors in the chat, hashing it out right now. That wasn't our point. That wasn't the point. The point was, the Nets went back on the Knights went back on their the Nets went back on their word. Kyrie Irving is back, for better or for worse. As far as what we think, go get your friggin' shots, everybody. Be smart, be safe. Any other thoughts before we wrap it up tonight?
Knicks are back tomorrow. No Kemba, though.
That's a sad situation. Again, we'll talk about it more tomorrow. But holy wow, right? I mean, they went out. They had a bunch of people out with injury and COVID and this and that. And they're like, who are they going to play? I don't know, but it's not going to be Kemba because he's out of the rotation. Like, they won't play him even in desperate times now. It's insane.
It shouldn't be this way.
Understand it.
It's crazy.
Really.
It's beyond.
It's not like a locker room cancer or something. I don't get it at all. I really don't. They're not playing. They're not playing great without him. I mean, they could use They need the bodies. I think. Yeah, we all know firsthand that he's not the same Kemba as he once was. But you're telling me he's an automatic DMP CD? It's kind of crazy.
Should I bring up what I put in my piece, John?
Yes.
You've already put it out there, Bobby, so you might as well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, now you have to.
I mean, damn.
There could be an opportunity here for the Celtics to bring him back. Maybe you flip Schroeder for him and a first rounder from New York. I mean, I do see bits and pieces.
I'm sorry, what?
The Knicks to try.
Bobby's trying. He's trying hard.
Yeah, knock it off. See? Look what you did.
You just had me choke, man. I'm taking my water right there, dude.
I'm looking up at you guys.
I'm sure
they're out now. Bobby, sell us on it. Go.
I love it.
I'm good.
I just think it's a fit for the Schroeder discussion we've been having. You can't re-sign Schroeder. Knicks are obviously going to want to get off this contract if he has no future with the team here. They could just cut him, but that's $16 million. If Celtics are willing to take that on, and like John dreamed of last year, bring Kemba off the bench, play him 15 minutes. There's no load on the knees there. It's a possibility, right? If you get a first-round pick right now, the Knicks' first-round pick is number 10 overall. And no one's listening.
Yeah.
You would give a first-round
pick? No
pick
one's listening.
Walker?
Everyone's done with Bobby's take.
No, the Knicks
I'm listening intently.
To Boston.
I'm listening intently.
So how about this? We promise we will discuss more Knicks stuff and these trade things tomorrow when they take on the Knicks. We're back at it. In the meantime, who is wrestling? There's too much.
That'd be me.
Jimmy.
I think. It's probably me.
Ninja Jimmy.
Head back on.
Ninja Jimmy right now. About to go
Killing me with the friggin' all over the head.
It was Bobby's fault.
No, your fault. You're making noise.
But he made me do it, though.
Jimmy wanted to hide. Yeah.
He did. Bobby made you do it.
All right. We'll see you tomorrow.
Tomorrow, I will let you guys know again. It's a double duty situation. We got the Patriots as well. So make sure you subscribe to our Patriots YouTube channel, Patriots Press Pass, for a post-game show. Bobby, you made Bobby mad.
Hey,
I didn't make Bobby mad. I think the commenters may have made Bobby mad. Before we leave, Patriots predictions?
Pats win. Next question.
Okay, that's what's one for the Pats.
I'll
take the Pats. I'll take the Pats this week.
I have Mac Jones' first comeback win of his career.
That's what's gonna happen.
Like a fourth quarter, last
drive. Mac Jones drives them for a touchdown
dink and dunk,
to win.
like just marching down the field.
Rips it down the field.
I like it. Listen, at this point, I wasn't a Patriots believer, but I have to say they've proven me completely wrong. So it's hard for me to bet against them. And I don't really believe in the Colts. I never will. After what the Patriots did to them and what the Colts tried to do to the Patriots with Deflategate. So I'm always going to take the Pats over the Colts. I just think that they're a much better organization and always will be. As long as Belichick's coaching, I think I'll go with Belichick over whoever's on the other side. But that being said, Jonathan Taylor I need a big game out of him for personal reasons. So I'll just leave it at that.
Okay. All right, do your thing.
Yeah, for personal reasons. I won't get into fantasy football.
no.
I won't get into
Jimmy's
it.
definitely crossing
Already
over
know.
tomorrow.
Yeah, you do not want to watch the game with me tomorrow. Looking for a high scoring game.
Fair enough. All right, thanks guys for watching. We went off the rails there a little bit, but anyway,
Yeah, we did.
It's gonna happen. But Bobby got hot. I agree with Bobby in principle, but I don't think it's. I think the world has changed now at this point. Things are getting a little bit weird, but still, go get your freaking shots. And that's it.
All right, enough of the CNN segment. All right.
Wrapping it up.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I don't want anybody to get the wrong message here. I disagree with Bobby in the sense that I don't think Kyrie's going to change.
Message.
Going to change the world. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're not telling people about COVID. We're just talking about basketball. And
I feel like you guys are having two different conversations.
The two intertwined. So you gotta bring it up. So.
Yeah. All right, we will wrap it up. Thanks.